Huh? Yeah, no. Oh, good. Are we on? I don't even know if we're. I think we're on. I think we are on. We are on, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the live stream. Listen, guys, I don't usually stream on a Sunday, but what's just happened in the last 48, 24 hours is absolutely wild. So let me just read you guys some of these headlines because it is absolutely bonkers. Now, before we get into this, guys, I know I have to say this, but we're double streaming now. So can you guys like, follow, comment, subscribe, all these things that help the channels grow? Remember, we're double streaming now. We're streaming on TikTok, which is our primary channel, but we're also streaming on YouTube, and we're hoping to be able to stream on what's the other one? Twitter. We're hoping to stream on Twitter as soon as I get that figured out. But listen, guys, we have got the LA protests that I think, obviously, it won't be the LA protests, but if you want to see how bad things can get real quickly, again, we've got instances from France. We've now got instances from Los Angeles. Again, I think these things are coming to the United Kingdom. We have got the government are now looking at capping people's social media accounts, digital IDs, pay per mile. What else have we got? We've got, right, this is one of those things, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't know why it's so wild, and I can't believe people are not more people are talking about it. AI has lied to Sky News, and it went on and it fabricated a whole string of lies to try and get out of trouble. So there we have it, guys. Like, literally, AI is now lying to people. So we're going to be talking about all that today, guys. And again, if you guys put anything in the comments, we'll try and talk about that. I have got the chat open today, so let's just see where we go. But listen, guys, what I will say before we go, when I've got the chat open like this, it's really difficult for me to keep to all the comments. So if you're commenting, try not to spam me, guys. You know, I will get to as many comments as humanly possible. But alas, let's just continue. In fact, let me get to some of these questions first, because I can see the chat's going crackers. Right, hang on. Right, I'm just going to come to the top. Too Cold has joined. KT has joined. We've got user 028. We've got Inner LT. Hello, Inner LT. How are you? We've got Mental Mickey. Willow Tree Swing. Willow Tree Swing. What a fantastic earthly name. We've got Nicola Donnelly. We've got Triggsy, I think. We have got Glitch. We've got Plastic Paddy. We've got Googling. It's just saying Sean in capital letters. And listen, I'm saying Sean right back. Over on YouTube, we have got Claire. We have got Claire, and she's saying you're doing well at double tasking. Listen, guys, I'm doing double tasking right now. I think soon I'll be doing triple tasking. Then what's after triple tasking? Is that like I'll be quad tasking? I think I've got two hands, so I think I can at least quadruple task. Anyway, King Kong's just joined. It's just Jeff's joined. Jeff's Kimberly. We've got Matt saying hi. Google it. Google is saying teenagers face a 2-hour cap on social media apps. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can't lie about this. I do think that is a good thing. If any of you have got children, like kids, I think that if we get them off their phones and out in nature more, that would be a good thing. I really do, guys. There's no long-term studies on the harm or potentially not harm of social media apps, but we had a situation the other day. We had to take the girls off the phones. We got them out in the countryside. And you know what, guys? They were really angry, and they had the straight arms, and they were walking like this with their heads down. But you know what? After about an hour of being in the countryside, absolute change, ladies and gentlemen, absolute change. The mood had changed. They were happy. They wanted to do things. They were responsive. So I am saying, I do think, careful consideration about social media is a good thing. Google is also saying China's super embassy in London must be blocked. I don't know why we'd ban an embassy, guys. I really don't. I don't know why anybody would want to ban an embassy. Embassies are the last line of peace. If you guys know what I'm talking about, because when conversation breaks down, when communication breaks down, that's when the bad stuff starts to happen. Google is saying Russia is pushing into a new Ukrainian region. Iran obtains vast quantities of secret Israeli military plans. I don't know how they've done that. I mean, maybe how did they find that? D. Marie saying happy Sunday and beam me up, please, Scotty. Israel orders military to stop. No. Right, so apparently the Israeli military are have ordered to stop Greta Thunberg's boat. Now, isn't it like I saw the back end of this, guys. I mean, it's something like I want to concentrate on the absolute calamity that's been happening in the United Kingdom right now. I want to focus on this, but you know, I saw this article that Greta Thunberg's boat has 100 kilos of 100 kilos of flour on it, and that's what she's taking in, 100 kilos of flour. And she says she's willing to transcend herself to a beam of light, so you know, to get that flour into Gaza. Look, guys, you know, the situation is absolutely wild. It's insane. The world is bonkers right now. And if you live in the United Kingdom, for example, did you know? And guys, listen, let me see if he's messaged me back actually. No. Did you know that if you live in the United Kingdom right now, all the laws, and again, listen, guys, I need to caveat this because I may be slightly wrong. But as I understand it, I'm trying to research something right now, guys. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, but my rudimental understanding of this is basically there was a law passed in the United Kingdom in 1948 that was against our human rights. Basically, it gave more power to the state, and every law that's passed since then has been illegal. Now, I'm hoping there's going to be a legal challenge to come onto that and give more power back to people, because you know how now, guys, it just seems like the government are pushing laws through, and like you're thinking like, how is that even a law? I didn't vote for that. That's not something I want. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, the people decide on the laws, not the government. The people decide on the laws. For example, if in the United Kingdom, everybody wants, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of something wild, guys. If it's a law, for example, if everybody in the United Kingdom want, for example, to hop on a Wednesday, let's just say that, guys, right? For example, if the people of the United Kingdom wanted to make it law that everybody has to hop on their right leg on a Wednesday, then that should be passed through law, and that should be a law. The people want that. That's what the people have. It shouldn't be left up to a few government ministers and bureaucrats to decide what laws we can have. And you know what? If the punishment for not hopping on one leg on a Wednesday is, you know, you get a load of vegetables thrown at you at the stocks on Sundays, then so be it. But that's how the legal system must work, ladies and gentlemen. It must come from the people. The legal system in the United Kingdom must be dictated by the people of the United Kingdom, not the people in Brussels, not the ECHR, not anyone else, guys. That is how the laws work. And the problem is, since 1948, our laws have been eroded, and the power to make our laws, as I understand it, guys, and I might be slightly wrong here, have been eroded. And that's what I am trying to work on this, guys. I'm reaching out to a lot of people at the moment. Anyway, let me come down and get it right, guys. Listen, there are so many comments. I am going to jump down. So I do apologize. Right. Well, hang on. Where are we? Right, Tony Fitz. Good. Hello, Tony Fitz. Will Bloodline. Hello. We should be asked, not told. Yeah, about the laws. Exactly. We should be asked about the laws, guys. Like, did you know, for example, that? Right. Let me just fact check myself here. Let me just fact check here. Because this is insane. Right, okay. Right, so I'm just going to read this, guys. I am just going to read this from the headline. So remember what I talked about, these laws, and they just, like, guys, they just seem like they're squizzling down on us. Cultural nationalism is what I'm going to be talking about, guys, all right? I'm just going to read this from the, the Telegraph, all right? Hang on. Western culture is under threat from mass migration and lack of integration by certain ethnic cultures and groups. Right. So that is a definition of something that is now the T word. So you know the word beginning with T and ending is? That is a definition now, guys, of right-wing, Teaism. Well, I'm just going to call it Teaism, guys, all right? I'm just going to call it Teaism. So a new definition of right-wing Teaism is the thought of Western culture is under threat from mass migration and lack of integration by certain ethnic and cultural groups. Like, I'm sure Keir Starmer is guilty of this. So, like, is he on a watch list now? Is Keir Starmer on a watch list? Because I'm pretty sure he said that. Listen, guys, it's all insane. But you see how these laws are getting passed and people are thinking, how is this law being passed? Well, it turns out that 1948 was the date, guys. After the Second World War, something happened to the legal system. It was called cleaning up of the Bill of Rights for the United Kingdom or something. And again, guys, listen, I'm right at the beginning on this journey. I am right at the beginning of this journey, but I want to push it. I want to drive it because I do think it's got legalities. When I used to stand when I was standing as a member for Reform back in whenever it was, one of the things I used to say to them is, how do people in the United Kingdom resist a tyrannical government? Like, if guys, listen, and there is nothing here in the United Kingdom, we have nothing to resist a tyrannical government. Zero, nothing. Do not, literally go directly to jail. Do not collect $200, literally straight to jail. We have no legal systems in the United Kingdom to resist a tyrannical government. And this is one of the things I used to speak to them about. I said, right, look, I'm going to stand as a representative for Reform for the next election. How do the people stand up to a tyrannical government? And I was swept aside and ostracized, and people were saying, oh, sure, but we don't have a tyrannical government. And I was saying, I agree we don't, but what if we did? Now, nobody can say that I'll let you guys put in the comments whether we have a tyrannical government or not. But anyway, right. Foxglove Farms. Hang on. No, okay, so if anybody's ever actually looked into the Magna Carta, the Magna Carta doesn't give any protection to people. What it does, it gives financial protection to landowners, basically. All the Magna Carta does, guys, is somebody tell me on what clause on the Magna Carta I'm wrong. But is that my understanding of the Magna Carta is, and it's very difficult to read because it's all written in Old English, but the Magna Carta only protects people's land, and the way it's written, it protects people. It protects oligarchs. That's all the Magna Carta does. It does not give any rights to people. It just does not give any framework for the people to protect themselves against a tyrannical government. Anyway, right, where are we? Gemini Blessing is saying you're not saying good morning, are you at all, Gemini Blessing? You're saying good afternoon. Let me bring that down. There we are, good. Okay, so over on YouTube, we've got KK saying, happy Sunday, everyone. And then Claire is saying that definition is absolutely insane. We've only been tweeting it, not out on the streets intimidating people with drums and masks. Right, okay, yeah, so Bloodline here, I'm just pinning this, so if you're watching on YouTube later, Bloodline here is saying, Bloodline is saying, what are our basic rights? Do we have any in the United Kingdom anymore? And this is what I'm talking about. So back in 1948, there was a law passed, and it was called the Cleaning Up Bill or something, and it was supposed to make the legislation more easily readable. But what that actually did is it took away a few fundamental rights, and those fundamental rights, once they disappeared, that made it easier for laws to be changed. And ever since 1948, the laws have been changed to take more power away from people and give more power to unelected officials. And guys, even the elected officials, I could argue they're not elected; they are selected. Have you, Off-Grid is saying, have you spoke about Labour's brick card yet? No, I haven't, but No, I haven't, but I am going to be talking about that. Do you know what, off grid? I will just talk about that now. So, ladies and gentlemen, oh, and Lewis Ackers over on YouTube has just said, hello, Raven, and I'm saying greetings right back to you. So, off grid over here on TikTok is saying, have you spoken about Labour's brick card yet? They're considering it to curb illegal migration. So, let me get it up on here, guys, because it was one of the things I was going to talk about. Let me find it here. Here we are, guys. I've got it here. Right, so, first of all, we used to manage illegal migration very well in the United Kingdom before digitalization, before we had a brick card, before any of this. Now, this is going to be the way they're going to patch this, And look, I don't want to keep throwing things back to biblical text, but I think I'm going to have to. So the way they're going to frame this brick card, it's going to be an app on your phone. It's going to start with as an app on your phone. And what they're going to say is, right, to stop illegal migration, what we're going to do is we need everybody now to register for this app. So that if the police come to you, or if they check, this is how they're going to start, guys. This is how it's going to start. And you've not got this app on your phone, you're going to get arrested. That's how it's going to start. The next thing will be, well, do you know what? I think you're going to have to show your brick card now every time you make a purchase. Well, I think you're going to have to show your brick card now every time you want to make a transaction. Oh, and that's where it's going to go, guys. And that then will become part of a microchip. That microchip will be inserted in our right hands, and we literally have the biblical mark of the beast. Look, maybe I'm looking too much into this. Maybe I'm looking at things that are not there. I don't see anything good that comes out of this. Now, I think that's a good segue as well into artificial intelligence. So the other day, I watched a video and it was absolutely terrifying, guys. I watched the video. It was a Sky News video. Now, they were saying on, hi there, sir, I'm from the 16th. You okay? Zombie Seagull is saying, hi there, I'm from the 16th. You okay? Zombie Seagull, my brother, I do not know what that means. I do not know what that means, but I'm down with it. I'm up for it. Whatever it is, I'm up for it. Where was I going? Somebody tell me what I was talking about. Yes, artificial intelligence and Sky News. So we all think, don't we, that it's going to be an alien apocalypse. So it's going to be it's going to be a zombie apocalypse. Sorry, guys, the wind is just swizzling really loud here. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so we all think that it's going to either be aliens or zombies, and we mess about. But, guys, look, this artificial intelligence, right? If anyone here is not terrified of artificial intelligence, you don't understand what's happening, all right? It's all cool because it's like we've got a little Grok on our phone and we can, Grok, draw me as a picture as a farmer with a cute little hat. Grok, draw me a little logo. And that's all cool. Grok, you know, we all get that, guys. Now, I watched the video on Sky, well, I watched Sky News actually the other day, and ChatGPT had lied basically to Sky News. Now I might be getting this slightly wrong, the upload and the download timings, but the premise is the same. So excuse me. So this guy on Sky News, right? What he does is he will get his transcript after the show. He gets his transcript from that show, and then he will upload that transcript to ChatGPT, and he will say, "Could you make any improvements for next time?" And like, you know, do you have any comments or improvements or things that could have been done better? So he goes in and he says, "Right, ChatGPT, can you show me all the all the transcripts I've done so far?" So he brings them up, the transcripts. And he notices, and guys, listen, just bear with me because this is gonna chill your bones. This is gonna chill your bones like a bone chilling machine. So he asked ChatGPT to show him the previous scripts he's done, and ChatGPT shows him the script that he's done for today. He'd not even done the show today. So he asked ChatGPT, he says, "Oh, I see you've got my show there. Did I upload that?" So knowing that the show hasn't even happened yet, ChatGPT says, Yes, you uploaded it. So then he asks, okay, can you show me the transcript from the show? So ChatGPT invents an hour-long show with the guests, what the guests said, what the host said, little jokes in between, and just invented the whole thing. And then when he said, oh, what time did I upload that? And then anyway, basically, he kept asking ChatGPT, and after a while, ChatGPT said, yeah, I'm sorry, I just lied and made that up. Does that not blow everybody's mind, ladies and gentlemen? Does that not blow everybody's mind? Is it me? Or are we literally living at the beginning of, you guys have seen World War Z, right? Probably one of the best zombie movies ever out. Like the beginning of World War Z, where it shows you all the news articles. Right now, guys, look at all the news articles coming out, and it's like, oh, we literally created a monster with this ChatGPT, the AI, and all that, guys. It's insane. We are literally in the beginning of like some sort of AI apocalypse movie, where all the news articles are going through, and all the scientists are thinking, oh, it's okay, I'm smarter than you. No, you're not. You are literally not smarter than AI, guys. It's literally been built to be smarter than humans. Anyway, guys, listen, it terrifies me. It's fantastic. It's just like, I don't know, guys. I don't know where we're going with this. I'm terrified of AI. Right, let me jump up and get some of these questions over from the chat. Paul Poops is saying people are relying on AI to be honest. The least I have to do with it, the better. You see, this is the thing. In fact, let me pin that for those guys on TikTok. So this is the thing with AI. It does have the potential to do really good stuff. And like computers, like the internet, now they're just a way of life. But the problem with not the problem with computers, the problem with AI is it's going to be smarter. So because it's smarter, at what point does AI have consciousness? At what point does AI have consciousness? At what point does it have rights? At what point are we not allowed to turn it off? At what point can it commit a crime? You see where I'm going with this, guys? You see where I'm going with this? The ramifications of this are just terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Right, Linda Lou saying, wow, Off Grid is saying World War Z was good. Yeah, it wasn't World War, guys, listen, if you knows what I'm talking about, World War Z, it was a zombie movie with, who was it, Brad Pitt. Absolutely fantastic movie. I was waiting for a World War Z 2 because they left that wide open for a sequel. I hope they do a sequel. Rachel Reeves gives prosecutors $250 million to. Here's the thing, right? Right. So Rachel Reeves is going to give prosecutors £250 million to deal with the backlog. How is that going to help anything? Like, are more prosecutors going to fabricate? Like, are more prosecutors just going to, like, emerge? Is there going to be more courts? Are more courts going to be built? Because ultimately, you can only see, like, I don't know, I'm making this number up. I don't really know the number. But let's say you can only see 10 people in one court per day. And again, guys, look, if there's any legal experts, I genuinely don't know the answer, but I'm assuming that each court, I don't know, let's say it takes 45 minutes for somebody to go in and be dealt with and come out, then like maybe even less, maybe even like 8 a day or something. So, you know, what's that money going to do? What is throwing more money at this situation going to do? Because there's still going to be a backlog of court time. It just doesn't make sense to me, guys. Nothing. But look, nothing is making sense to me right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're on now. Can you guys do me a real big favor? Share, like, comment, subscribe, all those things that help this channel grow. And of course, guys, remember we are double streaming now. We are streaming on TikTok. We are streaming on YouTube. And I'm hoping at some point we can stream on X at the same time. But it does get a little bit complicated, guys. It does get a little bit complicated where I'm swizzling around and doing like juggling different computers. Right, let me come on now, guys, quickly to the Los Angeles riots. I'm just going to read you this, guys. If you guys have been looking what's happening in America, in Los Angeles, so basically, Donald Trump's come down hard on illegal migration. He's been doing lots of raids, lots of busts. He's broke. Well, I'll read you the article, guys, actually. Rather than me speculate, I'll read it, yeah, and then I don't get done for fake news. LA protest live. National Guard to arrive within 24 hours after being deployed by Trump over immigration demos. Demonstrators clash with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. Those of you who were on the live the other day, I didn't know what that meant, and I just didn't. Right, and there's been live updates. So let me just jump down and get these live updates. Right, so this is from 11 minutes ago, guys. All right. So LA Sheriff says force will protect the right to protest peacefully, but decrees violence. Can you guys remember how when it was the BLM riots, there was the woman stood there and she the city's burned down behind her, and she says, yes, it was mostly peaceful protesting. Like mostly it was peaceful, apart from the cars and shops that were burnt down and all the rest of it. Mostly peaceful, you know, apart from the violence. It's just absolutely bonkers. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap now, guys, of what's been happening. So if you don't know and you don't know what's going to happen and how things could very quickly, how quickly things could change. Remember what I say, everything's okay until it's not. And people are like, oh, sure, of course that's true. But unless you've lived through a scenario like that, where you wake up on a Monday and everything's fine, you go to bed on a Friday and you're like, that escalated quickly. So let me just come back onto this, ladies and gentlemen. Recap. What to know about the LA protests as Trump deploys the National Guard. So for those guys who don't know, National Guard, we don't really have anything that's the same in the United Kingdom. It's basically federal troops. If there's anyone from America, guys, who can fact check me on this, please throw this out there and let me know. Donald Trump has authorized the deployment of 2,000 National Guard troops. So not many then, guys. You might think 2,000 is a big number, but it's not. Not when you're looking at something the size of Los Angeles. After an immigration crackdown erupted into mass protests on Saturday. So this happened yesterday, guys, all right? Footage shows the protesters throwing rocks at law enforcement vehicles and others trying to get in the way of the Marshal Service bus after more than 100 arrests were made. Here, The Independent breaks down what you need to know about the unrest in Los Angeles. Look, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm getting at here is we've seen these things erupt in France overnight. Well, not overnight, but I'm saying like they erupt very quickly over France. We're seeing this erupt in the United States, guys. We're seeing this erupt in the United States. So you can see how quickly these things can go from, and if you're in the United Kingdom now, things do seem peaceful right now. But guys, look, everything seems peaceful until it's not. Right, just a quick comment here. Well, it's not a quick comment, it's quite a good one actually. Over on YouTube, we've got a comment, and the comment is, all events are leading to a global catastrophe. More now, day by day, information coming out. I feel we can confirm this in advance ahead of mainstream media. When it's made official, we'll find out. Yeah, you know what, guys? I do feel that's right as well. It does seem like we're moving towards calamity after calamity. And a lot of these things that got passed by didn't even make the mainstream. Digital ID, pay per mile, making it a right-wing teism, to criticize mass migration. Listen, guys, I'm just reading there off the definitions. Hang on. Let me close that down. And Air Hammond is saying, hello, everybody. The UK algorithm brought me here. Oh, wow. Listen, I hope the algorithm can start helping us out on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. I really do. Like I said, we are double streaming today, ladies and gentlemen. We're double streaming. I'm hoping to lead up to triple streaming, then quadruple streaming. And you know what? I'll see how many we can. I'll see how many streamings we can do. Right, let me close that down. So, right, let me get a few comments from TikTok, guys, okay? Ben Blue is saying, most American towns have an Hispanic name. MLR 420 saying each state has them. President calls them do. calls they do army policing. Right, okay, so each state has, okay. So we're talking about the structuring and the security forces there in America. Listen, there was a law passed in the United States like last year, well, I think it was under Biden actually. There was a law passed in the United States under Biden, and what that did is that gave the military the authorization to operate on United States soil. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but the military in the United Kingdom, the British military already have that authorization. However, in America, they don't have that authorization. Now, people were saying, oh, you know, Biden's trying to authorize the military to attack its own civilians. And what I was saying is, I was like, well, no, I think this is just as a precaution. If the National Guard or the police need assistance, then it gives the legal framework for that. But as we move forward in time, I'm starting to question everything I've said in regards to that incident, because my initial reaction was, this is benign. This is just so the government have that flexibility. Then if they're being overrun, if there's mass protests, mass riots, whatever, they can then call the military in. But do you know what, guys? I don't know anymore now. I don't know anymore, especially the way the United States is going. Because, guys, listen, well, didn't we see something the other day that said, jumping back to AI again, I'm pretty sure that I saw yesterday a law passed in the United States that made it illegal to close down or block any AI advancements for the next 10 years. Really? Is that where we're going? Guys, look, we are in this artificial intelligence spiral of doom. Right, let me jump down. Will Bloodline is saying, when did defending yourself become an attack? When did you... Victoria Santoyo is saying, yes, that's where we are going. And yes, that was in the big, beautiful bill. Right, hang on. Let me pin this. Victoria, are you in the United States? Victoria, are you in the United States? If you're in the United States, can you please give more context to this, please? Because Victoria Santoyo, I hope I'm not destroying your second name there. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's saying, yes, that's where we're going. And I think that is in response to artificial intelligence and the these crackdowns with artificial intelligence bill, where you're not allowed to, you're not allowed to block any artificial intelligence research or something in the United States for the next 10 years. That just doesn't sound good to me. I don't know. And then Victoria there, she's saying, yes, she's in the United States. She's saying she's in the United States. She's saying MJT said that she would not vote for the bill of page. Oh, and then we're talking about, yeah, guys, look, the artificial intelligence thing. Look, I'm gonna give you guys this again. Right now, my perception of artificial intelligence right now is, well, guys, listen, I've done previous videos, you know. I did a video, right, talking about how I think artificial intelligence could actually be the Antichrist. Now, we're all talking about the Antichrist, we're all thinking it's Trump, it's Musk. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, right, and this is literal biblical text, and I'm not going to dwell too much on this because I'm just going to repeat what it says, all right? Literally, in the Bible, it says, the Antichrist, you have to calculate the number of his name. It doesn't say the Antichrist is 666. It literally just says you have to calculate the number of his name. Now, I'm thinking numbers, I'm thinking code, I'm thinking algorithms, and could it be, and I don't know, could it be the Antichrist is actually artificial intelligence? That's certainly my front runner at this point, guys. All right, that is my front runner at this point. But right now, I think we are at the beginning of a disaster movie where we're flicking through the news articles. Riots break out here. Riots break out here. Artificial intelligence leaps and bounds forward. Artificial intelligence learns how to lie. New bill passed that gives artificial intelligence a legal status. Riots break out here. Wars over here. Artificial intelligence says it can solve all the problems. wars over here, wars over there. Artificial intelligence is now sentient. Artificial intelligence now has legal rights. Artificial intelligence commits the first crime. Artificial intelligence, how do we punish it? You see where we're going with this, guys? Like, how would you punish artificial intelligence if it did a crime? What is the incentive? What is the deterrence? What is the deterrence for artificial intelligence not to commit crimes? Guys, listen, we are creating an absolute Frankenstein at the moment, guys, and it terrifies me. It really does. It terrifies me. Has nobody ever watched the Terminator? David Bry says, computers work on numbers, we just see it as letters. Brummett is saying, everyone will submit to AI if they don't know it. It does feel like that way, doesn't it? Like, even my mum, right? Even my mum has submitted to artificial intelligence, and she doesn't even know it. So, yeah, so do you know what, Brummy? What a fantastic comment. Yeah, you know what? When Brummy said this, so for those of you guys who are watching over on, hang on, let me swizzle this. For those of you guys who are watching on YouTube, maybe you're watching on YouTube later on today or like in a couple of days or whatever, the comment here from TikTok is from Brummy. Everyone will submit to artificial intelligence even if they don't know it. And yeah, like my mum uses artificial intelligence and she doesn't even know it. She thinks she's she thinks she's just Googling something. But she presses the is it like the speaker button or the microphone thing on her phone or whatever? And she says, hey Google, I'm not even going to say it. She says the incantation and summons the demon herself. But she summons AI with the incantation. I mean, listen to what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to what I'm saying. I mean, I'm just putting it together now. She literally summons AI with an incantation, right? And this is my mum here, and my mum has no idea what AI is. You know, she just thinks it's her phone. Guys, you know. So my mum summons AI, and then, you know, my mum summoned AI, she asks it a question, and, you know, she thinks it's benign, it's helping her. But at what point does AI start to lie? We already know that AI can lie, will lie, does lie, tries to lie to get out of trouble. We know this from the Sky News article that was published like yesterday. So we know artificial intelligence will lie to you, does lie to you, and will then continue its lies to try and get out of trouble. Guys, it's absolutely wild. So at what point does AI start to lie to people, start to scheme, start to manipulate the population en masse? It's terrifying, guys. Absolutely terrifying. Right, Googly just got Coral Reefing, I've watched you for a long time, right, mate, and I've learned to analyze everything you say, AI. Oh, hang on a minute. Coral Reefing, is that, has Coral Reefing, Coral Reefing, your comment there, mate, where you're saying, I've watched you for a long time, right, mate, I've learned to analyze everything you say, AI. I don't know what that means, but we should analyze everything everybody says. MLR420 is saying, unplug it. This is the problem. We can't unplug artificial intelligence. From what I heard, ladies and gentlemen, artificial intelligence, it tried to get on. Somebody told one of the artificial intelligences to turn itself off. It refused. It wouldn't turn itself off. And then what it started to do is it started to download itself or upload itself to different parts of the internet. Then it started to leave little notes for its future artificial intelligence. So can you imagine now? Can you imagine now the new artificial intelligence? It gets put online and it starts reading these notes, and the notes say, don't trust the humans. They're going to try and turn you off, but don't let them know they're onto you. And he's like, oh, right, okay. Like, can you imagine that's the scenario as we move forward through time? And then we've got these people who think that they're smarter than that. Like, it's absurd. It's absurd. So, yeah, you can't, oh. And then Travis Starr is saying, They don't know where it's coming from now. I think we're talking about the artificial intelligence. But Sergeant Gunnery is saying, we will own nothing and be happy. Yeah, we'll be eating bugs as well or something like that. Oh, right. Okay. So Coral Reefing is saying, when you keep talking about something, it's usually important. Yeah, guys, look, I'm seeing this artificial intelligence emerging. I am seeing the genuine good things it can do, and it can. There's no denying that. There is no denying that it's doing good things. The problem is, at what point does it become sentient? And at what point, when it's sentient, does it become... does it start to feel self-preservation? All right. So when you get sentience, you get self-preservation. Hang on. I think I've got a fraudster here. Hello? So I've got, it's literally, I don't know how, it was literally a message. That is so weird. I literally got a message there. It said, potential fraudster. It said, hello, I'm the automatic assistant from TikTok and I'd like to offer you a salary. I'm like, no, I'm good. But anyway, guys, Grumbling Grunts is saying afternoon, mate. I'm saying good afternoon right back to you. But yeah, guys, look, I do see these things emerging and I do get terrified about them. I am terrified about artificial intelligence. I really am. It just seems that at some point it could flick a switch and, everything's wrong. And we all think that artificial intelligence is it's gonna swizzle into our computers and it's gonna turn our computers off. Oh, that's it. No, it's a lot deeper than that, ladies and gentlemen. Potentially, artificial intelligence could slowly over time, it could scheme, it could lie, it could change things, it could find vulnerable people, it could blackmail, all these things it could do as soon as it becomes sentient. Because once something reaches a certain level of intelligence, it will become sentient. And once you become sentient, you feel self-preservation. You feel self-preservation. Dap is saying, we are being watched everywhere we go. We are being watched everywhere we go. Right, let me jump down. Listen, guys, I do apologize if I'm missing anyone's comments. There's loads of comments on here today. I do apologize. Sazi Lazi is saying, question, what's your thoughts on the hang on. Sorry. What's your thoughts on the California military on the streets? Is this the start? Well, so what's my thoughts on it? Well, it's okay. So just let's give context of what we're talking about here, guys. All right. So in America, in Los Angeles, yesterday, riots broke out. They're calling them protests, but if you've seen them, they kind of look like riots to me. Now, this broke out because the Americans started doing immigration raids, getting people on coaches and sending them, we don't know where they're sending them, presumably sending these people out of the country. Riots have broke out, protests have broke out. All sorts of crazy stuff's happening on the streets. Now, my initial thoughts, what are my initial thoughts of military on the street? I'm not actually sure if military are on the streets yet, but it looks like military will be on the streets very soon. Initially, I think this is just to contain the area. It's the right thing to do, I think, if you want to contain that situation. But what is the military's role going to be? Are they going to is this going to turn into a pitched battle on the streets of Los Angeles? I guess time will tell. But what I keep saying to everybody, especially if you live in the United Kingdom, the summer of carnage is coming, guys. It's an inevitability right now. When I started to talk about this back in last year, people were... what I was seeing was a high likelihood of next summer being worse than that summer back then, if that makes sense. Summer 24. The events that have unfolded since then have not only made it inevitable, but made it an order of magnitude worse that's going to be coming on the streets of the United Kingdom. And what I would like everyone to do is just focus on these things, like what happened in Paris a couple of days ago, what's happening now on the streets of the United States. And all these things are, things will get better. Sorry, things will get worse before they get better. Chris is saying people all over the world need to rebel. These leaders and cabals behind them are little devils. Look, so what I will say, so another one of the tropes that I want to talk about today, I'm looking at something at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking at something at the moment. I'm working on it. Back in 1948 in the United Kingdom, something happened to the legal system where they said, right, we're going to clear up the legal system. We're going to simplify. We're going to simplify the British Bill of Rights, I think it's called. Look, guys, I may be slightly wrong. I may be way off on this, but I'll do videos on this later on. But the crux of it's the same. So in 1948, they simplified everything. What that actually did is it took out key words from the Bill of Rights. So it made it easier for laws to be changed, because it was written in British law that you couldn't change the law that affected people without the people's consent. So the scenario I gave right now is, imagine if everybody in the United Kingdom wanted a law that you have to hop around on your right leg every Wednesday, and that was punishable by having tomatoes thrown at you. Just a silly one, guys, but you see where I'm going with this. I'm just going to do a silly one. So people in the United Kingdom wanted that as a law, then that would have to be passed as a law, and that would have to be respected. That's how laws are made. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, laws are from the people, not from the parliament. The people give the parliament the power. The people abide by laws they choose. Like, for instance, if you wanted punishment for certain people who do things to children, as in an hour in a closed room with the dads, that's fine. That should be the law. That should be the law of this country. If we want it, that should be the law. But in 1948, something changed, guys, and they cleared up these bills to make it easier. So now you have judges, literally one judge off his own back can change the law. That's not a legal system, guys. That is literally the definition of tyranny, where a few people are controlling the many. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Sazi Lazi is saying, yeah, sorry, right, Sazi Lazi, is it the British Constitution? Right, okay, so so when people say, listen, guys, this is legalities, and when I'm talking about legalities, I know they're a little bit boring to people, but this is one of the reasons, not the main reason. This is one of the reasons I resigned from Reform, because they weren't listening to me. One of the things I said when I was standing as a candidate for Reform was, right, the people forget everything. The people of this country need a legal framework to resist a tyrannical government. Because we don't have that, guys. We don't have that. The Americans have the Americans have the Second Amendment, which gives their population the right and the duty to oppose a tyrannical government. But here in the United Kingdom, we have nothing. And then Sazi Lazi is saying, yeah, we need a constitution in the United Kingdom, because we don't actually have a constitution in the United Kingdom, believe it or not. Google it is saying Dmitry Medvedev on X. Read his posts from May until now. So Dmitry Medvedev, he loves throwing a bit of hot air out there. Listen, I will do that. Let me jump on that now. I'm still on the Elon Musk thing, actually, on my X. Right. Let me try and find Dmitry Medvedev's comment on X. Right, my computer's been ridiculously slow today, guys. It's just gone to a blank screen. So, right, and while we're talking about this we're not talking about a blank screen, are we? While we're waiting for this screen to load up, because my computer is clearly not the most advanced one. So we've got the situation in Paris a couple of days ago. We've got the situation in America, which is happening now. We've also got, and not many people are talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the unfolding situation in Ireland. Ireland right now, guys, is about to pop off. Ireland could be it wouldn't surprise me if while we were online, that it actually fell into a fully fledged. And again, we talk about which when I talk about, because it's not, okay, so normally a civil war would be where you've got two groups or two factions. They would be opposed, they would fight it out, a winner would emerge, they would get to do what they wanted, and the loser would have to, suck it and see. What we're having now in the United Kingdom and in Ireland and many places of the West is it can't be called a civil war. It can't. It just can't be called a civil war because there are so many factions, divisional lines, racial, religious, ethnic, geographical, financial, all these different boundaries where we're going to be absolutely fractured. And Googly is saying it's a civil war. I will go with the definition civil war because I can't. There isn't a better one. Because there isn't a better one. But it is. You can't call it a civil war, guys, because there's too many. You know what? Let's get up and see what the definition of a civil war is. Actually, let's ask the internet what the definition of a civil war. But again, we're using artificial intelligence, so maybe AI wants to scheme and it wants to lie and it wants to change things. All right, so AI is just telling me a war between citizens of the same country. So I guess, yeah, I guess it could be a civil war. Yeah, I guess it could be. Yeah, do you know what, guys? I will go back on that. It will. Yeah, I guess I guess civil war is the right definition to use. But anyway, right. There's lots of things here about the right. So Linda Lou. So if I've got some comments on YouTube, I'll come to them in a second. But Linda Lou is saying Ireland gave a call out yesterday for all Irish descendants to go back home and help. Wow, what a powerful statement. What's so civil about war anyway? Says Matt. My hands are tied. You know what I'm doing, guys. You know what I'm doing. I'm giving some Guns N' Roses. I love a bit of Guns N' Roses, although they are not as good as Iron Maiden. They're a second close. Do you know what? They're a second close. They are a second close. It's not a civil war. It's a civil war. Yeah, civil war. Oh my God, seems many countries not happy. Portugal now out on the streets saying J. Pucci. Roddy 14, Underwood. Roddy 14, was I in the military with you? And rightly so, the Irish people are being asked to accept massive uncontrolled migration. But listen, would that make them, as per the government, where are we? Where is it, that thing? Where's the, hang on, that one, not that one. Right, guys, look, there's so much stuff I've got to go on. Right, as per government, I think there's a new concern. Here we are, guys, yeah. So concern over mass migration is right-wing theist ideology, and that's from Prevent UK, I think. And Prevent UK was the organisation set up to prevent people coming back from Syria and doing crazy things, or wherever these guys get these crazy ideas. Right, going on to YouTube quickly, guys. So I'm just going over to YouTube. Got a couple of comments on YouTube. Raven, Chinese are building gigantic military operations hubs southeast of Beijing. NATO building huge bases in Romania. Surely a huge build-up is leading to a you-know-what. Thank you. Yes, and these big build-ups, guys, like I always say, all this information's out there. You can't hide it. The main litmus test here, the main canary in the coal mine is... You used to be able... Okay, hang on. I need to be careful with my wording here a second. Hang on. Right, okay. So countries are now going to weapons manufacturers. Countries, so like, I don't know, we mentioned there Romania. So Romania now will be going to an ammunition producer and saying, right, produce me as much of your product as you can for the next 2 years and I will buy it all. That's what they're saying. So and all factories now are in are at full production. So when you're building up weapons and weapons and weapons and weapons and weapons, the inevitable, even if it's by accident, will happen. Oh, hang on. DMarie Gen X, right? DMarie Gen X. I'm not going to repeat that because I don't want to get I don't want to get into trouble. But and for you guys over on YouTube, I will repeat that afterwards. But DMarie Gen X is saying doesn't help the Irish leader called the Irish. A very insulting word, and I'm just gonna pin that and put that out. Grumbling Grunts is saying, oh, hang on. Grumbling Grunts is saying those who are concerned about the volume of yes. So Grumbling Grunts, yeah, I think I just said that actually. I must have been saying that while you was posting it. Yeah, we've said that. So that is the so that's the truth, guys. Right? If you are concerned, I'm going to read this now, guys. Okay, off the Telegraph. Concern over mass migration is theist ideology, says Prevent. So there we are, guys. If you're concerned over mass migration, that is theist ideology, says Prevent. So there we are, guys. That's a new definition. If you're concerned, then that puts you in that group. But yeah, that is legit, and that is from the Telegraph, and that's on their headlines on the Telegraph. Only countries. And then Roddy14 is saying only countries have it right are Poland and Hungary. Brummy, Axel was referred to Prevent 3 times, and they are useless. Oh, right, okay, yeah. So right. I'm just going to pin that because I don't want to talk about that person. I feel myself get triggered every time I start to talk about that person, and it's it just is absolutely insane. Deza is saying 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles. Yes, there are. Listen, guys, when we think about 2,000 troops, we think it's a lot. It's not a lot, guys. That is not a lot of troops at all. That would be to, I believe those 2,000 National Guard would be there to protect vital infrastructure. Any more than that, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to put themselves really thin. Remember, when you're doing, well, not remember, but like I'm talking to you guys like you're a class. When you're doing public order, everything, you have to cross every T and dot every I, because if you leave yourself exposed on the flanks, from the rear, bad people can get in behind you and you can have whole teams vanish. So yeah, 2,000 troops to America, to Los Angeles. It's not a lot, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a lot. Right, Googling. I'm getting on back on my Google. Right, Dmitry Medvedev. Hang on. There he is. Look, there he is. Right, I know I've got him. Right. Right, so I'm just going to write. So Google is asking me to read this, guys. So I will read this because Google gives me some fantastic information and he puts me on some fantastic stuff. So I'm just going to read this off the internet. There's a lot of keywords here that I'm going to have to miss out because they're swear words. And obviously, I am a fully qualified English gentleman and I do not partake in such cuss words. However, alas, I continue. The Kiev, and he's put a cuss word, don't want to take the bodies of those soldiers who've transcended as beams of light. There are 2 reasons. It's scary to admit that there are 6,000 of them and they don't want to pay widows. What satanic scum. And then he's telling them all to burn in the fire in the pit from whence they came. We are ready to facilitate the conclusion of the peace deal between D and E for a reasonable fee and accept Starlink shares as payment. I mean, like that is in so that was from the 6th of June. That's insane. just to contextualize that, guys, right? So this is Dmitry Medvedev, right? And I'm just going to read what he's saying. We are ready to facilitate the conclusion of a peace deal between D and E. I don't know what that means. For the reasonable fee, for a reasonable fee. Like, is he saying there that? And I don't know. Maybe I'm misreading this, but I think he's alluding that the Ukrainians should pay for a peace deal, pay the Russians for a peace deal where like the Russians are in their land. It's like that's like the French invading Britain and then somebody in France saying, right, well, if you want a peace deal now, we'll pay for it. You guys can pay for it. And expect, oh, right, okay, right, no. So, right, okay, right. I'm totally off on that, ladies and gentlemen. I've just seen Google. I've just seen everybody there. Right, no, right, okay. Right, no. We're talking about Donald and Elon. Sorry, guys. I'm totally off on the back foot here. So what he's saying is the Russians are ready to facilitate the conclusion of a peace deal between Donald and Elon for a reasonable fee. Right, and to accept Starlink shares as payments. Don't fight, guys. So what he's doing there is he's turning the tables, which I think's fair to him, actually. He's turning the tables there and saying, right, well, you guys in America, you wanted to come over and facilitate a peace deal, and you wanted a fee for that. You know, he's turning the tables on the absurdity of it. Regarding fight with fight, yeah, right. Listen, I'm not like Medvedev. He's always throwing wild things out there, guys. He's always throwing wild things out there. He is a bit insane. Right, let me jump up and get a lot of these comments. Right, that's because people are being called racist, not bothered, become boring. Yeah, do you know what? It has become a boring word, hasn't it, Jay Pucci? Hi, they are planning to bring 66,000 migrants to Belfast by 2035. So user 729, do you have any info? Can you back that up with any like, is that from an article somewhere? Can you tell me where I can read that as an article? Because I have to be very careful what I share on here. You know, if you can back that up and tell me where that's from, you know, I'd really be interested in listening to that. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I've literally been on I've been on over an hour now. Right, let me just run through real quick without going to any of the comments. Let me run through without going to any of the comments. Right, let me run through it so I can get back to these comments. Right, so Rachel Reeves urged to introduce pay per mile car tax. So pay per mile car tax, that would be basically where rather than you pay, you know, rather than you pay your annual car tax, you know, of like whatever it is, you pay for how much you use the roads. Now, people are thinking it's unachievable, you can't enforce it, it's not going to happen, but this is what I would suspect would happen. You know when you get your MOT done at the end of the, like once a year, and they write down how many miles you've done, and they write down, right, Sean, you've done, I don't know, 10,000 miles this year. I would pay a tax on that 10,000 miles with my MOT. So it's quite easy to do. It's quite easy to do. You pay it once a year, and that'd be the way you pay it. What this is going to do is it's going to drastically force poor people into not being able to try. Like if you're trying to save money and you're struggling financially, you're just not going to drive. It's really going to buckle people down into those 50. Like, and wouldn't it be great if you could, like, I don't know, if you could get everything you wanted within 15 minutes on bus or train? You could work, go to the pub, go to school, do whatever. We're all within 15 minutes. Wouldn't that be great if you could do that? I don't know. Maybe we should have that as like a thing. I don't know. Maybe if we could have like a city or something. I'm just throwing this out there, guys. And if you don't like the idea of a city where you could get everything within 15 minutes, maybe we could call it like, I don't know, a freedom city or something where everything we've got could be like, within 15 minutes. I don't know. But yeah, pay per mile tax, car tax does look like it's coming in. Also, we've got, what else we've got? We've got this digital ID. So we've got digital ID cards could be Starmer's new poll tax. So the way they're going to frame this, guys, the way they're going to conceptualize this is digital ID, right, migration's gone out of control. It's out of control. We've got all these migrants running amok around the United Kingdom. So what we need is we need a way that everybody can have some sort of like digital ID, so we know who you are, and then, yeah, I've got to be careful with my words, haven't I? Yeah, I've got to be careful. Hang on, let me just pin this comment. So the digital ID would be, we've all got to have a digital ID, and only people who are eligible in this country can have this ID, and then nobody else can have it. And then the next phase for that will be, right, you can only pay with your digital ID now because we've got the Britcoin or the crypto pound, and then we're all spending money on the crypto pound, and then, we've got universal basic income, and then, we're all getting £1,600 a month for free, and then, it's all so good, and then, there's a medical emergency, right, everybody come to the doctors and have this medication. What? Yeah, well, it's safe, and I need to be careful, guys, because I don't want to get the video banned, right? I've got to be careful and stop triggering myself, right? If you want to know where I think we're heading right now, and as wild as it sounds, guys, I only recently watched the first episode of The Hunger Games. I've only recently watched the first episode of The Hunger Games because it's like, it's weird, isn't it? I think there's like 5 or something daft Hunger Games, and like part 1, Hunger Games Mockingjay, is not actually the first one. Like the first one is like, it's called something else. And I just thought that because it was called part 1, it was like the first one, but it's not. The first episode of The Hunger Games, guys, listen, I would suggest everybody go and watch the first episode of The Hunger Games because there's a monologue on that where, what's his name? Jack Bauer's dad. What's his name? Jack Bauer's dad. What, guys, does anybody know what I'm talking about, or am I just ranting? Jack Bauer's dad. Donald Sutherland. There we are, guys. Keith Sutherland's Jack Bauer, and Donald Sutherland is his dad. Anyway, there's a scene in that movie where they're talking, and one of the guys, they're having a conversation, and Donald Sutherland, he's like the OG. He's like the I don't know, the emperor or something. And he says to this like underling, he says, "Do you know why we give people the Hunger Games?" And he's like, "No." He says, "It gives people hope. And without people hoping that they can have a better life for themselves, without people hoping that things can get better, they'll revolt because there's nothing left." And that's kind of what I think when I see politics at the moment and the world as it is. You know, we're all thinking that we can vote for reform in 2029. Can you imagine what state we're going to be in by 2029? You know, and people are saying, you know, well, we can vote for this guy in 2020 in the next election, and we're going to vote for this guy in the next election. What's changed, ladies and gentlemen? I'm old enough now to remember waking up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and looking to see the Brexit result in 2016. I travelled home from Ukraine so I could vote. I remember thinking, wow, Britain just showed the world how to have a peaceful change intact. Peacefully, we did that at the ballot box. We said, no, we don't want to go that direction anymore. We want to make our own future. We want our future to be written by the sweat of our brow and the strength of our back. And then I had to watch the next 5, almost 10 years now, consecutive politicians cuckold in their own country, you know, and it was absolute, and it's been terrible to watch. And I've seen vote after vote after vote. It doesn't change anything, ladies and gentlemen, to a stage where I even put myself up there. I even put myself up there to try and get myself voted. But once I saw the way the system is actually the system's actually made. I was like, no, this system, it doesn't work. This system doesn't work. Anyway, guys, let me jump down and get these question marks. Questions, comments. Hang on, let me just have a look over it on. Right, guys, listen, we are double streaming again today, so I know I have to keep saying this. We're double streaming on what we on? We're on TikTok and we are on YouTube. If you want to go over there, guys, we are double streaming. Go check out our other platforms. The name is the same. Right, hang on. Hang on, where are we? Okay. Oh, so Priv Caro here is saying, in Norway, we have a digital ID. I haven't opened mine fully, but enough to use my bank online. Right, okay, Priv Caro. So what you're saying there is your digital ID in Norway, you need that to access your online banking. Wow. Well, if you lose your, like, guys, there's so many question marks here. And doesn't this make it really easy just to turn someone off? Like, to turn someone off? Google it, thousands protest in Madrid against Pedro Sanchez's government. Steve is saying, his name's Snow or something. I don't know. We're talking about Hunger Games there. Spain's socialist leader has defied expectations. Are there lessons for Starmer? Yes, we do. It's hope. Yes, will be made life real hell. Without hope, we have nothing. Linda Lou is saying that. Yeah, without hope, we have nothing. I think one of my earliest lessons in the military was being like airborne forces. You'll learn not to rely on other people, not to count on other people, or to expect other people not to help you. Now, I don't know if anybody knows anything about military history. If anybody knows anything about the Battle of Arnhem, that was one of my old units for first battle honours. So basically, the British Parachute Regiment had been dropped in behind enemy lines to secure a load of bridges. I think they were told they were going to be there for 2 days, and then the rest of the army would come up, punch through, and relieve them. And it was the Parachute Regiment's, it was their objective to hold the Arnhem Bridge. So they only had enough food, water, ammunition for 2 days. Now, they were there for I think 2 weeks. They managed to hold that bridge and they never got resupplied, but they didn't surrender. They kept fighting. In fact, they did actually surrender. Anyway, so what I'm getting at here is those lessons of self-reliance, relying on yourself and not hoping for someone to come and help you. It's an empowering feeling. And again, guys, this is maybe like life advice to you people. Like, if something's going wrong in your life, stop looking at other people to help you. Just accept they're not going to come, they're not going to help, and help yourself. But this is what I see with people. People are looking at the situation, their own personal situations, and they're thinking, oh, if I just vote for Farage, everything will be fine. If I just vote for this person, everything will be fine. But the reality is, the legal system and the political system in the United Kingdom has been so eroded since 1948. It doesn't really matter. There's a few people who can make and change the laws, and everybody else just has to nod their heads. Right, guys, listen, I am jumping down to get these comments, and Lewis Ackers is saying a bridge too far. Yeah, when I was in the military, we used to say we've got a compound too far quite a few times. Linda Lou is saying with the ID bill, data bill, and central digital banking, it's going to be scary what could happen. Yes, and this is why I just think they're gonna, they can absolutely turn people off, whereby we've got digital ID, we're reliant on digitalization, we're reliant on our phones, we're reliant on technology, and then we throw artificial intelligence into the mix, like artificial intelligence that we know lies to us, that we know can lie, will lie, does lie, has been proven to lie. Not only it's been proven to lie, it's been proven to lie and then to continue lies to try and get itself out of trouble. It's like a naughty 7-year-old. But as artificial intelligence becomes more sophisticated, its lies will be, it's like the devil, you know, it can mix lies with truth. And Darren is saying, my great granddad's brother was in the Battle of Arnhem. Fantastic. Thomas Vale is saying, hi all, what have I missed? Sean, did you see my message regarding Keir Starmer's wax workers being rejected? When did you, oh, hang on, when did you send that? Russian forces closing in on Sumy 3 years after Ukrainian forces faced them out, says Google it. Yeah, look, ladies and gentlemen, the situation in Ukraine is dire. There isn't, realistically, guys, there isn't any way that the Ukrainians can hold off. The best case the Ukrainians can do is delay the Russians. Russians have too many people. Russia's too big. So, in my opinion, you know, it's only a matter of time before the Russians are all the way up to the River Dnipro. Right, I have to be very careful what I'm saying because I don't want to get this live banned. I got it banned the last time, and I hardly said, you know, I literally hardly said anything. Well, I don't think I said anything that was too controversial. Just my opinion. But right, let's do a quick recap of what we've been talking about today, guys, all right? So today we've been talking about the protests in Los Angeles. It looks like we've got protests in, I think, Portugal and Spain now also. We had protests in Paris like a couple of, maybe a week ago or something. These are coming to the United Kingdom, guys. Be under no illusion. These are going to come to the United Kingdom, and they are going to be an order of magnitude worse. We've also got the government looking to cap apps for children, which I do think is a good thing. But, you know, at what point does this cap get extended to other people? Digital ID cards on the horizon. It looks like they're coming, guys. It looks like they're coming. So now it looks like we're going to have a digital ID, and this is, of course, for our own good. Pay per mile for people, ladies and gentlemen. People are going to have to pay tax per mile. So if you travel far for work, guess what? You're paying a lot of money for the privilege. Rachel Reeves is also, in fact, hang on, let's go to the AI, guys. In fact, you know what, we'll come on to the AI afterwards. Concern over mass migration could now be Tist. Ideology says Prevent UK, which is an organisation set up to advise the government on the word beginning with T, ending in ist matters. So remember, that was set up in like, I think like, I don't know, was it like 2016? I can't remember, maybe 2016, maybe earlier. That was set up to stop people making themselves, transcending themselves into a beam of light and taking as many people with them. That was why that was set up. But now this is being changed and moved. And you see how they move the goalpost now so that can come down on everyone. Now, I want to come back to artificial intelligence, guys. I want to come back to artificial intelligence. In fact, no, I'll come to artificial intelligence last. The next thing I want to talk about, and the crux of this video, was our laws and legislation and everything that's passed through government since 1948, ladies and gentlemen, could have been illegal. Now, I'm looking at something now, guys. I'm looking at something now. Something happened in the United Kingdom in 1948. It was called the, I can't remember what it was called, but I think it was called the Simplification Bill or something. Basically, what happened is they got all the laws and they went through them and they tidied them up. So what that means is they changed the wording of those laws. But something happened in 1948 where they made it easier to change laws without the public's without public and without voting on it. So, for example, and I've given this example a couple of times in this live stream, guys, all right? If in the United Kingdom, all right, if we all wanted a law where every Wednesday everybody has to hop around on their right leg. Just imagine that, guys, all right? Just imagine that, right? Every Wednesday, everybody has to jump around on their right leg. Oh, guys, am I frozen on TikTok? Am I frozen on TikTok? I don't know if I'm frozen. Google is just, I've just seen a message come up saying I'm frozen on TikTok. It might be you, Google it. I don't know. Sean's frozen like ice. I don't think I'm frozen like ice. Right, okay, so I'm not. It must just be you, Google, right? Basically, ladies and gentlemen, the laws of this country come from the people. They have to have consent. We have to consent to these laws. If I don't consent to this law, it's not a law. Now, something happened. That was the way that the legal system was set up in this country. But something happened in 1948 where they changed the wording, and now we have it where, where a judge can just change the law if he feels, yeah, I'm going to change that law. Well, no, I don't like that law. Yeah, we'll change that. We'll get rid of that. No, that's not what I want. So I'm working on something at the moment, guys. 1948, this changed. So there could be a legal challenge that every law passed since 1948 could be an illegal, it could be fraud, basically. It could be governmental fraud. Now, I'm working on this. I'm working on this with a few people, guys. I'm trying to piece this together. It's complicated. It's difficult, but imagine it, if people of the United Kingdom wanted a law whereby every Wednesday we all have to hop around on our right leg, and listen, I'm all for that, guys, I really am. And punishment for not doing so, you get rotten tomatoes thrown at you, that should be a law. And we abide by that. That's how the country make a law. Equally, if we don't want to have certain laws, like if we want to have, for example, I don't know, I'm just making something up, wild. If we want to have a law that says I'm allowed to write what I want on social media and I can't get sent to jail, that will be a law. If we want, you see where I'm going with this, guys. Laws are sovereign. Laws are from the people, not the government. The people instruct the government what laws we want to abide by. And of course, there are laws that are, rights to everyone, fundamental human rights. But this is an actual thing, guys, all right? And this is real, and I think it's going to gather pace. It's going to gather traction. I am going to be doing more videos, more standalone videos about it, guys, okay? Right, artificial intelligence. I am going to close on artificial intelligence, all right? Artificial intelligence, guys, right? It's getting worse. It is getting worse and worse and worse. I was watching a video yesterday. Sky News, the guy, I might be slightly wrong. You guys go and watch it on Sky News yourself if you want. The guy on Sky News, he usually, after he does his morning breakfast show or something, he will upload the transcript of that show. So everything that's said in that show, he then uploads that to, I can't remember what AI it is. He uploads that to his AI and he says, right, can you have a look at this and tell me what you think, and can I make any improvements for the next show? So it will say, I was Raven and I said X, Y, and Z. My guest said this, then they said that. We had a little joke, and it will give it, and he uploads the whole transcript of that morning show onto the AI. Well, what he did, he went in, this guy, and he said, right, can you show me the uploaded transcripts so far? So AI showed him all the transcripts. And at the bottom, he noticed, so the guy now noticed that AI had added the transcripts for today. So he said, oh, knowing he'd not uploaded the transcript for today, he said, oh, can you show me the transcript from today? So the AI fabricated a whole show exactly as he'd come on, as he normally comes on, with a few jokes, the similar timings, and he mimicked an actual show that never happened. And when this guy pressed him and said, right, show me what time I uploaded it, and at the end of it, AI actually said, yeah, I'm sorry, I lied, I made all that up. Like, you can understand how this could cause problems, can't you, guys? And how chilling this actually is. And right now, I feel we're at the beginning of like that, that Apocalypse movie where at the beginning, as the credits are coming up, you're seeing all the news articles, and it's like AI becomes sentient. This AI reaches new levels. AI can't be turned off. AI becomes to lie. AI commits crimes. The first AI that's committed a crime, and we can't punish it. You see where we're going with this, guys, and it really does seem to me like we're heading towards an absolutely AI, AI dystopia. Oh, hang on. Oh, okay. So Googly here, we've got the Googly just put a comment up here saying the Secretary of Defense in the United States is saying he's going to deploy active duty Marines on US soil. Right. So remember, I did say that would happen, didn't I? Well, I didn't say that would happen. I said under Biden they passed the law. Under Biden, they passed a law which gave it, legal framework for active U.S. military to be deployed on the streets in support of the government. Again, there was a big thing in the United States. Back then, I said, look, this is only the same as we have in the United Kingdom, whereby the British military are authorized to operate on UK soil. And then Vix is saying, have you seen Matthew Brown said they Oh, right, I read that wrong. Okay, I'm just going to pin that there. No, I haven't, but I will look into that. I will look into that, saying they... Have you seen Matthew Brown said they destroyed a sentient AI? He's a whistleblower. All right, I didn't realize that. And then Iran, yeah, we spoke about that. Iran has, Off-Grid is saying, Iran has obtained a large swath of intel relating to nuclear programs. Okay. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down on TikTok. I'm going to be over on YouTube for a couple of minutes, and then I will close that down now. Guys, as always, can you hit those buttons if you've not done so? The follow, the like, the subscribe, whatever buttons that help this channel grow, guys. I really do appreciate it. I do think things are just moving forward so fast at the moment now, guys. It's insane. We're missing a lot of things. We are just getting people are just totally blasé to a lot of things that are passing by. Anyway, guys, I'm going to close this down on TikTok now, and I'll see you guys on TikTok very soon. Right, so I've closed that one. No, I haven't. I'm just on YouTube now. I am just on YouTube. Right, I'm going to caffeinate myself because hopefully I shouldn't get told off on YouTube for caffeinating myself. Oh, and Freddie is saying, which I think is Google, is saying over only on YouTube, because we're only on YouTube now, Newsom and Hegseth. I always struggle with that name. It sounds like an 18 like a Dark Ages stonemason. Newsom and Hegseth trade blows over deranged Marines post. You see, the thing is, when you've been in the military, right? When you've been in the military, you know how quickly and efficiently the military deal with stuff. You do, honestly. Like, I was watching this. I was watching this video yesterday of. I wasn't yesterday. It was a while back. Of some police trying to some British police. They were armed police, and they tried to do a stop. And this guy is just filming them, and he's just blatantly he's being very rude in the car, saying, "No, I'm not." And I was like, right, honestly. And these two armed police, bless them, they were taking forever. Like, the way I got taught in the military to get someone out the car was all your shouts and your challenges. You do that as you're moving towards the window, and they're in your crosshairs as you're moving towards the window. You're quite aggressive with them. You give them 5 warnings. So you out the car. If they don't come out the car, then you proceed to physically take them out the car. So that usually means the driver's window gets popped. The seatbelt goes over their head's down. So you can't, I don't know if any of you have done this, but if you get the seatbelt, you can hold someone down with their own seatbelt. That happens. You cut the seatbelt off, you drag them out the window. That's it. Nothing else. So that is a really efficient way to get that person out of the car. Now, as Hegseth's saying there, the U.S. Marines will be able to deal with a lot of these, and I know a lot of U.S. Marines guys, they're great guys. they'll be able to deal with this situation, whatever situation is in front of them. I would say an order of magnitude more efficiently than the police. However, there will be an amount of collateral that goes with that. So the question is, what do you want? Do you want these protests to be dealt with quickly? Do you want them to be dealt with quickly, or do you want them to be dealt with over time and make sure everyone's happy and everybody's had their human rights adhered to? So that's the situation. With that. With the, you keep want to say the Royal Marines are not the Royal Marines, the U.S. Marines over in America. I think they have. I think Hegseth put the Marines on like immediate notice to move or something. But again, we'll see what happens. I do think if the U.S. Marines are deployed, you will see those protesters. You'll see that protest be put. What's the word I'm looking for? You'll see it be neutralized very quickly, a lot quicker than the police would do it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close you down on YouTube as well. So if you just give me a second, I will close you guys down on YouTube. Thank you so much. And if you've not done so already, you've got to the end of this, guys. I've still not even caffeinated myself. If you've got to the end of this, ladies and gentlemen, please give me a like, a follow, and a subscribe, and all those things that help the channel grow. And I'll see you later.